this was like a real controversial thing on the timeline for a minute, and I wanted Danielle to really explain this clip for a lot of people that didn't understand, because there was some folks that were on the timeline and couldn't understand the problem with how this was approached.
Oh yeah, this is crazy.
What
Is it
is
muted?
The Sexy Red clip.
I didn't
All
see
right.
it.
It was like the craziest thing that's ever happened to me.
Crazy
Oh, I did see it.
between us.
I got over. That's the craziest thing that ever happened to me.
Maybe something a little under that.
Oh, yeah, but-
Maybe something.
Let's go
Okay,
back.
I mean,
so
I
yeah.
don't know,
Okay,
like-
let's try it. Maybe something.
Shootout?
There we go. Shootout.
Yeah,
you
there
know.
we go.
High
There we go.
speed?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
more what we were thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
You know,
Wait.
In the shootout.
I'm sorry. What's that? we just want to say we are sorry that
Yeah, that is. Yeah, wait, that's definitely.
that is bad.
That is
Mhm.
unfortunate.
It's not something we should speak on.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the shootouts and stuff. Wow. You know, you have done a lot of things,
Yeah, I have.
and now you're a big rapper.
I be forgetting TOS is like a thing on YouTube, and
Yeah, you can't say that word
why didn't they bleep it out of the TikTok though?
because that was a TikTok. They don't care.
But
She
you
got
can't say that on
trauma.
TikTok either.
Well, you know, random shit flies on TikTok. Sometimes people can get away with shit other people can't.
Yo,
TikTok
they-
is TikTok. Fuck
they-
TikTok.
Omar, introduce not Omar. Damo.
Damo.
Introduce your girl. Like you just got her in. Hey.
Yeah, I've been trying to get on for like the past 5-10 minutes. She just not got on.
Okay.
Everyone, this is Angel. Everyone, and Angel, this is everyone.
Hello, everyone.
I
Twin.
don't even know if y'all heard her.
Yeah, we heard her. Damn it. You know what? We're only on YouTube for like 30 more days. I don't think the channel's gonna get clapped.
Yeah, I think we're straight.
Fuck it, risk it. And this is what Bezos is scared of. But fuck it.
Yeah,
risk
this is
it.
what Bezos is after.
I think Sexy got some trauma she needs to deal with. She looks like
He's not
after
here.
hearing that clip and listening to her music and how she acts is like, yeah, you're gonna get far with your music because it's really where the hoochie daddy is ghetto and all that. Everybody love that. Everybody love ratchet, but it's just like that's trauma.
Okay, so there was a lot of backlash from how Yachty and Friend, I don't know Yachty's friend's name, how Yachty and Friend responded to it, laughing at it, trying to skate by it, going to a shootout, etc., etc.
I think it was a nervous.
So what are our thoughts on how Yachty and them reacted to it?
I mean, well, I know Lil Yachty's an awkward little nigga, so I mean, I'm pretty sure he just didn't know how to respond to it. So it was the nervous laughter thing, which to me, I can understand it. It's a valid excuse or explanation, but that's all it is to me at the end of the day, is an excuse. I'm not glad like I'm too uppity because I can't even act like I wouldn't have laughed in that situation because I wouldn't know what else to say for real. I mean, I wouldn't have expected it. I'm glad they stopped and acknowledged they were wrong, said sorry. That's the most they could do in the moment. But yeah, it's little fucking Yachty. I don't know what people expected his podcast to be like or what he expected
the one called Safe Space.
Yeah, but you got to think though, like
I didn't
as
know that's what it was called.
growing up as men, like you're always kind of, and people can say it's not this way. You're taught like, get over that, right? So you don't necessarily learn how to handle your own emotions. And Omar, when you was in the locker rooms looking at PPs, I'm pretty sure other people were in there like saying like, yo, bro, my girl broke up with me. She cheated on me. And everybody laughed at him because that's how like that's the trauma response for men. Cause it's like, you're getting emotional. Look at you. So like in this moment, that's what they're normally used to. Like we laugh through the pain. Right. But I kind of think that's where they're coming from. Like, yeah, if you have something called safe space, you should, learn how to have those conversations. But I feel like men have to develop that. Women are a lot more, girl, guess what happened to me today? Oh my God, how did that make you feel? Oh, she's wrong for that. Like, you're right. Like they're more validated. Their circles are more validated in those things. Guys kind of like laugh through the pain, toughen up, get over it,
That's a fact.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Dwayne. that whole Dwayne situation. I mean, women on the outside looking in, I promise you, every woman I know said I was wrong for how I dealt with the Dwayne situation in the space. Every guy, understandable. Hey, I get it. Laugh that shit off.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead.
Yeah. I think Lil Yachty's space, especially, well, really one, starting with how Lil Yachty like markets himself as I'm the alternative Black guy who's sensitive, but still funny and cool, but like quirky. You're not. You are, can I say nigga?
Yeah, you can say nigga.
You are the rest of these niggas that don't know how to do things. Simple. And I hate how the conversation kind of drifts to, oh, you know, men don't have the emotional space or capacity to deal with these things. So of course they laugh it off. That's their trauma response. How we got to their trauma response when Sexyy Red literally just said, oh, well, I was raped before. It's crazy. Like,
yeah, but she's used to being in
let's not censor the men.
No,
she just expressed that she was raped.
Yeah, and she's used to being in female spaces, right? So in female spaces, you can express.
I wouldn't say that because even in female spaces,
female space, but I think she's used to being around a lot of hood niggas that are her niggas, and she thought, hey, I can say this because we with niggas and they in the industry and we gonna be some real ass niggas on the podcast.
And I'll say this: I like that she was able to say what she needed to say in that moment. Period.
See, I just feel like it was a little bit much. Like,
whoa.
Like, I think it was a lot. Like, what? Like, why was that the first? I don't know why.
That is the craziest thing that happened to her. And just because other people are uncomfortable to hear it doesn't mean she shouldn't say it.
Like that.
And I think that's the difference between I don't want to frame it like that, but successful podcast and not successful podcast is like that Bobby girl is crushing the industry because she knows how to. We're here to create content.
She's crushing the industry because she is white, blonde, and her neighbor is like a billionaire. That's how she started. That girl is mediocre, a terrible Potter.
Just like The Office is a terrible show, but like I said it. Like she's using the same humor from that dry humor. People can put their own joke to it. They can put their own spin to what they're saying. That's what Bobby is doing, right? So when she understands, when she sits on the camera, I'm creating content, right? So as a content creator, you know, when you sit down with these artists, and that's where the next PR training has to go, is, hey, you're not here to interview you, or this is not a documentary about you. People are here to create content. So when they're asking these questions, like they're not asked, we're here for content. What's going to get us some good content? Like, and it is wrong to put people in that position that don't understand it. I agree. But from their perspective, when people say, when she says, I feel like it was a bit much, it's because we're not here for therapy. This is not Charlamagne's therapy.
And it wasn't how'd you start your career? It was like trying to be
I thought that's what it was.
Like, well, not in more of a serious, like, this is not Oprah. This is not Jennifer Hudson show. This is not the Tamara Hall show. This ain't even Chic TV, baby. This is supposed to be funny and fun. And and that's her. She's being truthful. Yeah,
she's not wrong.
But I would be like, I robbed the bank.
I think this is a crazy combo. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Cars chasing us. Like,
So you saying you would make up if somebody asks you a question, you feel like she's supposed to know to lie in this situation?
No, but it's PR training though.
And then to switch to a shootout like that is also funny and fun. And
that's what
her music says.
That's glorified.
We're done over
talking
here
about.
anyway.
I was disrespected by this guy. He slapped me and I got raped one night. Her music don't talk about that. Her music talk about
2
fun.
seconds. Wait, hold on. Wait, y'all.
Hey, real quick. Love the combo. Let's just understand. Y'all keep saying the R word.
Yeah,
we are on YouTube.
Oh yeah, don't
great. You gotta say great.
Great.
Right?
Great is what we've said.
Great.
Hold on, everybody.
Man, you know, we were great convo.
Mark, rewind this clip. Start over. Get some bleeps in there.
Mark, get the bleeps going, because
this is a good convo.
Look at Bezos.
Sorry.
It's too late. But no. Like
It's a crazy segue, but
can it be beeped out after?
Yeah, I mean, but the live, they still got it.
I'm
They
about to
still
say,
got it.
It's a little too late.
Right.
Hey, we're cool. We're cool.
See, and then hold
Good
on,
combo.
Omar.
I
This
don't
is
know.
Now y'all got a super
Omar.
chat.
Omar, but this is part of media training too. Like we have two people on the live that aren't like live, so that's what happens.
I'd let it rock.
Y'all
I
are
don't know.
talking about media training when a woman has just said she's been great.
No, but like you have to
Yes,
understand.
that's what it is.
Hold up.
I'm uncomfortable with what she said, and she shouldn't have said that on this pod. That's literally
No,
what
I'm not.
y'all are saying.
No. I'm not. She can say that, but you have to understand these people aren't equipped to handle those situations. You talk to therapists about therapy, right? And you talk to podcasters about things that's going to create content. It's that wherewithal to know she's not wrong for it. That doesn't make her wrong for not knowing, right? But what we have to help people understand so they don't also walk into this situation where they feel like they can be vulnerable around people who's not really there for you to be vulnerable, right?
Well, what was the conversation before they asked that question? Was that just a crazy segue?
Her baby daddy's called while she was in the middle of the interview.
No, that was a different interview. That was a different interview.
But I'm asking, before she mentioned being great, like what was the conversation? What was the 5 minutes that led up to them asking what was the craziest thing that happened to you? Because beforehand, if we go and look at the clip, because I'm not sure if y'all seen it, I know damn well I ain't seen it. I'm not watching the Lil Yachty podcast. Love his music, but were they talking about real shit beforehand? Was they talking about anything that she could perceive as personal or things that relaxed her, and then she just said it? Now, if they're talking about the ins and outs of producers they had, and he just switches to, hey, well, shit, while we here, we got a podcast to do. What's the craziest thing ever happened to you? And then she just jumps out, yeah, I was great when I was 12. All right, whoa, like that's a trauma dump.
It's
like
not,
I don't,
that's not needed.
It's time and place.
Even
it's
with
all
what
in
I'm
context of what was going up.
Even in what
up
I'm listening, even with what I am listening to, like on the side, they're having the serious podcast. We was interviewing.
Her baby daddy did call during that interview. One of them, and then the last.
That was the funny Marco.
Yeah, funny Marco. They both called in. Funny
so they're
Marco.
having.
No. They called in that one too.
Oh well.
I seen another clip of her baby daddy calling. Yes, from jail.
Yeah.
And he said, "What do you like to eat?" They asked him, "What does he like to eat?" Was that the funny? Yeah, they asked him, "What do you like to eat?" And he's like, "Babe, be honest, tell them." And he was like, "Me, you, or something."
They get conjugal visits?
No.
Listen. What I'm saying is in this same podcast though, they are having serious conversations. So I feel like you can bounce between the two. Ultimately, as an interviewer, podcast, or whatever, they can bounce between the two. I don't think that doesn't justify like how they respond in the moment to her saying this.
Okay,
if she said this, like they asked what the craziest, or I don't remember the exact phrasing, that specific word, but if they ask that and she says that, which, you know, she felt free enough to say that to them in this situation, then they should be able to have a different response than laughing and, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Like I think they handled it incorrectly. I'm not saying they handled it correctly.
I think when she said it, I don't like, trust me, I have sisters. We all got a nervous laugh. Okay. One of my sisters, she just can't stop laughing because my grandma said, "What's so funny? Why are you laughing all the time?" I think it was a nervous laugh. Like, I got great. Hold on. No, girl. I ain't saying that, and I'm sorry that I didn't even want you to even say that. But we meant like maybe you got arrested, or like I would have even probably was like, "Oh, okay."
You know what makes it nastier? Out of anything that you're saying, Sheik, this is a recorded video. If this was live, it could be a different conversation. Yeah, this is a recorded video.
But again, people have to understand when you sign these contracts to these labels and executives, and you sign up to do certain things, like you have to understand they're gonna do with the content what makes them the best money. Like when Lil Yachty, like, you think he owns the podcast or he signed to somebody who has the podcast? So when they get that footage that they paid for and they see that, Yachty might say, take that out if it was 100, if he had 100% ownership. I don't know if he does or not, but if he doesn't, them people, they're gonna say, nah, this makes for good. You know what this is gonna do on the internet? Because it's about money. There's no ethics in business. It is what makes money, and if clicks and impression drives the money, and this is what people are responding to, that's what they're gonna put out. So you have to understand business at the same time when you're these people.
It's nasty.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. If we're on a page that's nasty.
The same way Vince McMahon saying, "What's up, my nigga?" to John Cena, then walking past Booker T. That was irresponsible, but like it made money. Look, that clip lives on to today because of that's the business of entertainment. And if you don't want to exist in that space and understand it, you have to. It's your responsibility to move, right?
Daniel, what's the correct response for Lil Yachty, and his name is Mitch?
His actual government name is Mitch.
I guess that's his stage name. I don't know.
Okay. Well, let me first preface, I'm no expert, but I think the first thing to do is just affirm the person who shared this with you. Thank you for sharing. I'm glad this space was one that you could tell us about in. Like, I'm glad there was this space for you. Stop the recording and go from there. Ask the person, do you want to talk about it? Do you not? Or
where did you,
go ahead.
No. Where did you learn those responses?
I didn't read it in a book somewhere. I just think that's the best thing to say.
From the hood.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not about being from the hood though. Like, how do you think you came to learn how to respond like that? And do you think these people that you're holding to the standard had the same level of learning that you did?
It's not about learning. It's just about being empathetic. If somebody has told me they've been raped, what would I want to hear? Do I want to hear a laugh and a switch to a shootout? Or would I want this space to direct the conversation myself?
That's not the tone. Wait, time out. That wasn't the tone of the conversation. They were just laughing. And then she goes, what was the craziest thing? It wasn't like, well, I was great. She was like, well, I was great. And it was like,
I'm not in the business of tone policing victims of sexual assault.
Hold up. When you're asking, be empathy, like the empathy. A lot of times these people are in environments where there is no empathy. Where like people
and
love
that's on them. That's not on Sexyy Red.
Hold up, it's on them. So people preach this: Black people, we need to stick together because the system. But then what the environment that they say that system created puts out people who are less empathetic or don't have the social cues of empathy because of their environment, then you hold them responsible, right? Is that what you're doing?
As an adult, you have to learn. We get it that everybody comes from a different background. They don't have the same privileges. They don't have the same education. We get that totally. But life teaches you things. And I would hope that it would teach you how to be empathetic as well. Now, I understand men are socialized differently, which is a whole nother conversation. But just because your environment was tough and you didn't get a hug doesn't mean that you can't ever learn how to show empathy to somebody.
And is it possible that this is Little Yachty's learning experience? This was his time to learn this?
I don't know. I guess maybe. But it's a bad look. It was a bad move. How they handled it was terrible. Hopefully he learned from it. But I also hate that all of this emotional learning and empathy, and now I know how to relate, often comes on the back of women, Black women too.
I was gonna say, I think they thought she was okay with it when she said it, because she said it. So it wasn't like they pulled it out of her like, well, have you ever been great before? No, she said it willingly. So it wasn't one of those things where she wanted someone to feel bad for her. She just said, this is what traumatically happened. Well, what I say, the worst thing that has happened to me, but I don't think she was looking for sympathy in that moment where it needed to be that type. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for you. She said it because she's really hood, and that's what she does. She's not like she does graping, but that's happened, and it's probably happened to people around her. So that's normal to her. She's thinking, well, that's one of the craziest things, versus someone else saying, well, like
somebody, my homie got shot, and people are saying, like, slide for Vaughn in his DMs. Nobody's saying like y'all aren't being sensitive to Little Durk and him losing his friend.
That's wrong.
Blah, blah, blah.
Well, let me say this. I will say this. People do say that, and it's wrong that we don't say that. That shit. And matter of fact, and I think Damo's talked about this too. Damo talks about this actually quite often. It's nasty when like Adam 22 will bring on these rappers or these people from these areas, and then try to coax them into stories about, their brother getting shot in front of them at their grandmother's 85th birthday.
Yeah.
And then what are you good like? Oh, you just let the guy go? Like, what are you gonna do to the? I think Adam did that. Didn't he do some shit like that last
He
week?
does he does that religious. Him and Vlad, they do that religiously. They'll bring up all these real world things, all these things that have tremendous amount of consequences. And he just asks is like, if he interviewed somebody in Lil Durk's camp, so when Vine died, what was you? He would dead ask, what were you guys planning to respond with? Like act in a regular interview and expect them to answer like, well, yeah, when it happened, Durk hit us up and said
for that answer. They didn't act like you know what type of people you're being interviewed by. Like
your PR team should know that's their
even
responsibility.
Not the PR team, like it's just you as
we just
artist
now hold on now.
Know what to respond to. Like,
but people said that about ESTG's interview. I forgot
when he left out of
DJ Academic said it's the PR team's job to put you in places where you're going to perform that the best for what you are as a talent. That's your PR teams. That's why they have PR teams.
But even in that situation, a PR team is going to help for the simple fact that ESTG, he's simply, and I'm just using that situation for the example. He simply didn't understand that people don't give a fuck about his music that sounds the same. You're supposed to sell yourself as a person. Fuck the artist. You're supposed to sell yourself as a person, and that nigga didn't get it. He thought that his art transcended him as a person, and it doesn't. You listen to track 1 to track 8. It's the same shit. You sell fentanyl, nigga. Cool. What else? What is it about you? We seen you play football. Let's talk about that. You don't want to talk about that, nigga. All right, then leave. Your PR team the PR team could have told you everything they was going to say. He still would have walked his lame ass out because he wanted to talk about the music. There's only so much you could talk about selling fentanyl.
No, I think. Hold on, Holla. I think that's different than. I think ESTG is different than the dudes that like Vlad or Adam 22 because they bring on people literally from just the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then they ask them specific questions, trying to get them to say, you know, either stuff that'll get them incriminated or, you know, stuff that'll, you know, bite them back later. So I think that those are two totally different things. I think ESTG has a team. I think Lil Dave, you know, from around the corner doesn't have a team. And Vlad is trying to get Lil Dave to say
anything, right?
Yeah, to say anything. Oh, yeah, no, we slid on Rudy. That's why Rudy, you seen his funeral? And then they're in trouble later on down the line. I do want to read these. That's a lot of super chats.
I will say y'all are a lot better. Y'all are a lot better than me in that Yachty situation. I'd just start victim blaming out of nervousness.
No, when they said the podcast is called A Safe Space, honestly, maybe she never even watched the podcast. She just know Little Yachty and the boy. Like maybe that's the thing too. Like you're gonna kind of know who's interviewing you. Like if someone says, "Hey, would you like to be on let's say Funny Marco's show?" I'm gonna be like, sure, but I'm gonna go watch some of Funny Marco's interviews and see how some of the other artists are responding.
You know the crazier part on top of this, we just watched Bobby, and the dude who did the interview with her showed the finesse of it. If you don't think that Sexyy Red may have got up there and said this to stir the internet and then ends up on Drake's tour, who's like this with Yachty, like the entertainment is a game. Like it is literally people are playing on people's emotions when they put out these things. They know what's going on. That came from the Safe Space podcast channel. Like these people are doing, I'm not saying they're doing it on purpose, but like it's not a coincidence.
I think it's even nastier to think that she knows Yachty and they allow this clip to get out.
You said what?
I think she did it on, not saying on purpose.
No, I don't think she did it on purpose.
I don't think she seen that there was a problem by saying it. The way she said it was
no. We don't disagree that she didn't see it as a problem. I'm saying it's nasty for Yachty and them to use it as a clip.
No,
for them to keep it in the pod.
I don't think it would have got put in out. I don't know. That's how I feel.
He has control of he has control of these clips. I understand he might be signed to somebody. He has control of the clips.
You think so?
If they weren't comfortable enough to actually talk about it on the pod, they should have took it out. That's how I view it. There's no way you say switch the topic, but then you still leave it in there post-production because that's not a live pod. They do that shit recorded. So if it was too much of a
oh, never mind.
No,
you
I'm
can't
saying
even see what I'm doing.
Oh, I'm about to say, well, this is a live pod. I want to talk about us, but nah. If it was so bad or so uncomfortable to talk about, you should have just cut it. You shouldn't have had it in there at all. So that I feel like that was in bad faith, bad taste, whatever
That's
it was.
that Adam 22 shit. Anything for clicks and views.